Now we're going to remove the oil tube inlet hose using the clamp tool or a set of small pliers. Be sure to remove both the top and the bottom hoses. There are 4 main bolts that hold the radiator in place, located on both sides, top and bottom, and fit into this bracket. The top bolts are rather easy to get to, but the bottom bolts will require more finesse. Just take your time and be patient, and you'll get them out of place. The main radiator bolts are 13 millimeter and are removed from the outside of the engine well, from top and bottom. You'll have to crawl under the vehicle to get to the bottom bolt. Use your new radiator as a guide to locate the approximate location of the bolts. The bottom main radiator bolts are 12 millimeters and are accessible through an opening in the front of the engine. Take your time and use a hand tool to loosen these bolts. Now, once the main radiator bolts are removed, you can adjust the hoses so that you can pull the radiator up and out of the engine compartment with the lower radiator hose still attached. Doing it this way will make it much more easier to replace the lower radiator hose, and I highly recommend this process. At this point, you can also decide on whether or not you want to reinstall the lower radiator hose at this time. Some may find it easier to reinstall it at this time so that you can better position the bracket in the down position in order to more easily remove it next time. In my case, the lower radiator hose bracket was difficult to get to because the way the bracket was positioned. And so it was easier to leave it attached and to remove the radiator with the hose attached. Reinstall the various components in reverse order. It's now safe to reconnect the battery terminal. Now, to add coolant to the radiator and to bleed the system to ensure that there's no air in the cooling system, you're going to make sure that the vehicle is still raised. Raising the vehicle helps to bleed the air out of the system. Next, you're going to fill the radiator with the proper fluid. After the radiator is full, leave the cap off of the radiator. Next, turn the thermostat on the heater to the hottest position. After that, you're going to start the vehicle and turn the fan on low. Let the vehicle run until it gets to operating temperature and turn it off. Let it sit for 15 or so minutes and return to the vehicle. At this point, you'll add fluid to the reservoir to ensure that it's at the proper level, as well as the radiator itself. If the radiator requires more fluid, follow those procedures again to ensure that there's no air in the system.